It's Monday. It's the Minisode.
Oh, yeah.
We need to actually have an intro.
Oh, hey.
Like,
Here's the introduction. Now that we're past that, one of these girls, Sushie, is from my hometown.
No.
Yes, Amber.
Your hometown?
Amber is from Augusta, and they took
Do you
her.
know her?
No. Because believe me, when they were meeting the parents, they're like, "This is Augusta, Georgia," and I was like, "Oh fuck!" They actually went there.
they went to Augusta, Georgia, and Barnett was like, "We in a bad part of town."
Yes. Yo, he literally.
Oh, I have to rewatch that episode. I didn't know that.
He literally said, "I was so nervous for her to see my place because I was like, this isn't gonna be good enough for her." He's got like a fucking house, and a dog. And then he was like, "But then we got here and I realized that we're kind of in like a bad part of town." And I was like, it probably really isn't that bad. It's just not Atlanta.
I'm like looking in the
Atlanta's
background
very
for like
metropolitan. Yeah.
I'm like looking in the background for like Sam's brother or something.
Wow.
Just doing something Georgian in the background. I don't know.
I love it.
God. Anyway, yeah, I was like looking for landmarks on where this bitch lives.
Like, did you guys like go to the same high school? Because you're not that far apart in age.
Well,
I mean, how big is Augusta's pretty big, right? It's just
Is it? I don't fucking know.
Okay, so Augusta is actually the second largest city in Georgia behind Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And it's
okay.
slowly becoming like as big as Atlanta. Like they're desperately trying to get to be
How close is it to Atlanta, though?
It's 2 hours south.
That's not close enough to compete.
No, but they trying.
Okay. Because I could see it if they're like trying to get commuters, but 2 hours is too long of a commute.
Yeah.
To work in Atlanta and live in Augusta is too much.
I mean, there are people who do it, but it's just not advised.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Nah,
Sushi.
not unless I'm taking a helicopter.
Sushi.
No.
You poor innocent New York soul. Every
2
other
hours?
It's coming from Ohio, where we have Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, Toledo, and Cleveland. People will commute between those cities, not like Cincinnati to Cleveland, but they'll go from Cincinnati to Dayton. They'll go from Cincinnati to Columbus, which is an hour and 45 minutes, and back daily.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
It is a thing.
Yep. Unfortunately,
I mean, that's why we got the interstates. They hop on the interstate and they go.
To go to your job every single day?
It's literally because
No wonder everyone
is angry.
is depresso.
Yep. Yep.
What?
Now
Imagine spending 4 hours of your day in the car. No thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not even like on the subway where you can fucking like read a book or listen to stuff, right? Like you literally have to be driving the whole time.
Sushi, imagine a world where you go to work, you drive a long time to work, and then a snowstorm hits, and then they go, it's a level 3 snow emergency, you're legally not allowed to drive. And then we all go, well, I'm risking this ticket because I'm not staying at work for even longer.
Wow.
That's a thing that definitely happens in Ohio, where it's like after driving for an hour and a half to get to your work, you're like, well, now during this snowstorm, it's probably going to take me 2.5 hours to get home, and I also risk getting a ticket, but I'm not staying at work.
You know what's interesting? If you are one of these people, the 2 hour commute that I've never heard of because I just don't live that life, you know what you could do? You can boot up the Everyone Sucks Here podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have so many episodes, and it was built for a commute.
We literally just posted
That's going to be our new tagline. Built for a commute.
Oh my God. We literally just posted with minisodes and full episodes together, our 101 episode.
Yeah, if you count.
I know, I saw that. I went to the Podbean, and I was like, what?
What?
Did you guys know we have like thousands of downloads?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
We do.
Like people we don't know listen to this.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
A lot.
Yeah.
Do you know how impressive it is when people that we do not know IRL listen to our stuff?
I know people
It's
that
like,
aren't
what the
our
fuck?
friends or like that we strong-armed from our community listen to this podcast.
And believe us, we have definitely strong-armed a lot of people.
Most of them.
As a matter of fact, we harass a lot of our friends too. We're like, why didn't you listen to this? Like, what the fuck? We thought
you should feel bad. You did bad, and you should feel bad about it.
You loved us. We thought you loved us.
I checked out the Podbean stats. It's thousands of downloads.
Oh my God. Okay. Can I just have a little sidebar about side arting people from your community? I had a funny text from a friend of mine the other day, who he texted me and was like, "Oh man, such and such game is out. The game is Cyber Shadow, right? And he's like, man, I didn't even realize that was out, right? That game came out back in February, right? I believe it was February.
Something like that.
And I responded and I was like, what better way to out yourself is not watching my YouTube videos, because I did an entire video on that game itself.
Oh.
And that's when the Kappa smile comes.
and that's when you realize that
Your friends don't love you.
Even your closest friends don't give a shit about what you do.
Yep. No one cares. Just keep doing it.
Sushi, go watch my video about dust.
I have my own dust situation going on.
Okay,
But
see,
you will understand.
This is why I was angry though, Sushi. He was like, this entire like month we've been like, man, everything is fucking falling around us, and we literally like fell on the bandwagon of like cleaning. Like the house is a fucking mess. We really do need to like we need to do one of those deep cleans, you know?
Yeah.
And this motherfucker's like, I'm gonna make a video about how we don't dust. I was like, are you serious?
It's not a video about how we don't dust. It's a video about how no matter what, like if you collect shit, it's gonna get filthy and you can do nothing about it.
It's true.
You just hit a certain point where like, I'm not gonna fucking dust off like 40 amiibos like manually, meticulously with a toothpick and fucking oil.
Just get a Swiffer thing.
Dude, it don't work. I had one. If you watched the video, Sushi, you would see me using one, and it broke in the video. It broke. Mid recording. So whenever in the recording it breaks and I make a face, that's not even for the video. That just actually happened, and it fucking broke. It came off the fucking handle.
Swiffer, if you hear this, because Swiffer is listening to this. Can you please help AJ out? Please.
Swiffer, send me something.
Give him a starter set. Thank you.
Yeah, give me a starter set, Swiffer.
Not a starter set.
You need to start from square one. What
have you got for us, Sam?
So I went old school. I got some Am I the Assholes and some relationships, but these are pretty good. I accidentally made them both about pregnancy though.
So
that was not on purpose. It just kind of happened. So
do you think it'd pull people in if I called the episode Sam's accidental pregnancy?
All right, write it down.
Sam's unplanned pregnancy.
Write it down.
Sam's unplanned.
Oh no!
Don't put unplanned. Just put accidental. Because that sounds better.
Oh my god!
Damn it.
I can't wait for the clickbait.
God, just typing out the word Sam and pregnancy, the same thing. Just
Like
something about it just feels a little weird. Sushi, imagine this little ball of fury, but imagine it as
first of all, I'm letting you know right now, I'm not going to your COVID baby shower, okay?
Bruh,
So,
I don't want nobody to
don't.
look at me. All right. Just don't even look at me.
Oh my god, I can hear the voice memo in my head. I'm just like putting my thumb down on the phone, be like, Sam, are you out your goddamn mind?
My COVID baby shower. You fucking.
Do not make me get on a plane for that. I'll be so mad.
The key here, though, is it's 2032.
But then Sushi, you could be the one to start one of the fires. You could be the one.
Oh my god!
With my laser eyes.
God. Okay. This is posted 10 days ago, so it's fresh and new. Mm-hmm. Okay, am I the asshole for telling my surrogate to stop acting like she was my husband's wife? My husband and I have been together for 5 years. We wanted kids, but because of my health problems, this wasn't possible. We decided to go with surrogacy. My friend nominated her sister, Brittany, 29. I agreed right away because I know Brittany and the family. We've set everything up, discussed payment, short and long-term plans, counseling, and doctor's appointments. We explored IVF and chose a private clinic to get it done.
Can I ask one question here? With surrogacy, is that the one where it's the mom's egg, and they just implant the egg into another woman? Is that what they do?
So,
or is that
they literally do it several different ways, but essentially it is getting someone else who is healthy enough to have a pregnancy and then putting whatever mesh they have.
It's still her. It's not the sister's friend's egg, right? It's the wife's egg, right? That's
depending on her health issues, it could be a bought egg from somewhere, or
But usually, I was just curious. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, there's several different ways it can go, but essentially they're just using her as a fucking bottle.
Well, this is fucking biology, and they're like, all right, make your own little rainforest in this bottle, and like we're gonna seal it, and it's gonna be self-sustaining. All right, we put some grass and some leaves. We put a grasshopper in there, and it's gonna be self-sustaining.
She's a tank. Okay.
You know how like in YouTube video there's always like a clickbait title and like a really animated face?
Yeah.
It should just be my face in disgust, right? And then Sam's
Accidental pregnancy.
Yeah. And I'm like, ugh,
Okay, so
and I'm like,
I am so sorry to everyone who's ever been a surrogate that I called you a bottle. Okay. It started after Brittany took a pregnancy test. She only told my husband, though she had both our numbers. She only sent my husband a pic of the test while he was at work and sent me nothing when I gave her my personal contact info, but it was okay. Things got complicated when Brittany started having access to our credit cards for her own wants and claimed they were the baby's needs. She excluded me from doctor's visits and scans and had only my husband go with her. Her excuse was my husband drives and has time since I work and, quote, unavailable most of the time. I felt isolated from this experience, but said nothing, knowing she's bearing a lot of burden, so I had patience. My husband had no idea what was going on and if this was normal. This was new to us, so we didn't know. She's 7 months in, and last week she had us visit to discuss things that I thought we'd previously agreed on, but she said she changed her mind about, and her mom was there too. I heard Brittany out and was shocked when she gave us a list of how things should be from now on, since she said, quote, there was lots of confusion in the past because of me stressing her out by complaining. She requested she get say in things like baby name, after I, quote, deleted the list of names she sent to my husband. She wanted more access to my husband's credit cards, free time to get stuff done at her place. Also, more time with the baby than agreed on. Then wrapped up by saying only my husband should be with her in the delivery room and used the hospital as an excuse. I got up and firmly stated I do not agree on her new terms and that she had to stop acting like she was my husband's wife and this was their baby. My husband didn't speak till she started crying. He asked me to sit down, but I said I had boundaries, reminding her what her role was and how she has overstepped. Her mom went off and said her daughter was being mistreated when she put herself mentally and physically through the most selfless act for us to make us a family. She gave up a part of her life in those months to give us what we wanted, and I was acting selfish and ungrateful. She had us leave, then told my friend, and it got more complicated. I was told to apologize for what I said. Am I the asshole?
No.
No. Okay, so first of all, just because like you agree to this surrogacy, one, doesn't mean you get access to my fucking credit cards. Like, that's already big red flag. And I get that like there's things that she needs. Okay, but you're also like not getting access to the fucking credit cards. Like, we'll figure that out as the time comes.
It's not like an adoption situation. Surrogacy and adoption, where it's like up to the minute that they sign the papers, you kind of never really know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Surrogacy is not the same situation. It's a business transaction. Like usually, I mean, there's different contracts, of course, but usually there's agreement of like we pay for your health care and X, Y, Z, whatever the fuck. But it's not an adoption situation. There isn't a point where this woman can like keep the baby.
Yeah.
So
it's not her baby.
There's also like there's another thing that I find there's something fascinating to me about when we read these stories, when I realize that it seems like nobody has any fucking sense of self-awareness or just like thinking a little bit like broader than what they need to. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's always like, we just went along assuming that's how it was. Listen, I've never fucking had a surrogate baby. I've never gone through any of this. Yet to me, it sounds incredibly fucking weird for somebody to be like, oh, but only the husband can come. You can't come, mother of also the baby.
That's weird. And like having to say it the baby name,
especially if it is her egg, like it just based off of that, which I'm assuming it is, but who knows? But if it is her egg or whatever, right? It's like she is the mother of this child. She deserves to be there. So when people are like, oh yeah, we just assumed it was normal for just him to go. What the fuck do you mean? Are you that stupid? Like,
right. So here's the update. We learned that there was no legal contract.
Oh, God.
So AJ's saying, are they that stupid? Yes.
Yeah.
Because they did not do this legally.
Wow, then they're really stupid.
They did not protect themselves. So that is something that's...
Is she going to keep their baby?
Huh?
Is she going to keep their baby?
I don't know what's going to happen, but basically this was labeled not enough info because people were like, first of all, this is way above Reddit's pay grade. But is there an actual written legal contract? She said no. She said no. That basically, this was a friend and they just kind of like trusted the friend to go along with it. And this is why you do not do that. I don't care what kind of friend you have when situations like this occur, you have to go through it. Also, let's talk about the fact that most of the time, surrogates have to go through not only physical, but also mental like tests, basically, to see if their bodies are up for it, if they're mentally able to have a baby, go through the pregnancy, and then give this child up, like truly give this child up, right? This was not done for this woman. Question that everyone had was if Brittany had ever been a mother. She had kids of her own. She had a 4-year-old. She was a single mom. This 4-year-old had an accident and passed away. She had him at a young age, but she's always seemed in good mental and physical health. Just because someone seems in good mental health does not mean
they're in mental health.
Anything. And this is a huge red flag that I think any clinic would have been like, no, this is a woman who had one child. She was single, had this child, and then they died. Let's not give
this is a red flag situation.
Yeah, this is not something that something along the lines of, oh well, I want to name the baby. This isn't your child. You're the surrogate, and that's where the legal contract would come into play. You don't have any rights to this child after it's born.
Time with the baby. What do you mean?
Exactly.
You're having time with the baby. You're incubating the baby. It's a business transaction. You're not in. Unless they want that, but that's weird and complicated.
And that's what Reddit essentially said was, who in their right mind thought the mother of a child who passed away would be a good candidate for this?
A dummy.
There it is. I wanted a legal contract, but I got talked out of it by my friend who thought there was no need for it because I didn't know much about this experience. I thought this was normal, but it clearly wasn't, and it escalated. I was told I was out of line for lashing out and treating her like that, but I think I was justified for being upset.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This sounds like an asshole thing to say, but I don't give a fuck when you say this kind of shit. When you say something like, oh, I wanted to get a legal contract, but I was talked out of it. Okay, well, then you obviously aren't fucking intelligent enough.
You definitely got a contract.
You are not intelligent enough to fucking have a baby right now. Like,
that's a red flag right there.
Yeah, you like if you let someone talk you out of a legal contract when it comes to a fucking human life and a baby and a surrogacy, you should not be having a fucking baby. Like these people are so stupid. Like, I'm sorry that this happened, and that's a shitty situation that you put yourself in. But holy shit, like so much. This OP is basically just kept saying like, oh, we didn't think we needed that, or we didn't know anything. Okay, so then you do the research. You talk to a doctor. You talk to a lawyer. You do the if you aren't ready for this, then you don't do it. Like, it's a huge fucking step. Who just says, let's go have a surrogate baby and talk to nobody?
Yep.
Like, who the fuck does that?
You're so right.
I'm sorry that this happened to you, but, like, you're fucking stupid. And that just goes, like, so often do we hear these people where they're like, we just didn't know. Fuck, I'm not,
but
I don't know either.
the internet is basically free.
Yeah, the internet,
Google's free.
Right.
all of this shit is free, and the thing
Just
is,
Google, how do I go about a planned surrogacy?
Yup.
And Google will tell you so many different things.
and that's just it though. There should be a common sense factor to it though, because again, none of us are parents, none of us have had surrogates or anything, but all of us would have gone, that's not right, you need to lawyer up.
Also,
Yeah.
there's subreddits.
Yeah.
There's subreddits
There's
dedicated
so-
to IVF. There's subreddits dedicated to surrogate.
true.
You didn't go to any one of those?
You didn't do anything. Like, it's just like at a certain
Right.
point, like when the common sense is just fucking completely lacking, I just don't give a shit anymore.
Another
Yeah,
thing that
I
a lot
kinda
of
like
people
tune
brought
out.
up was, why is your husband just going along with everything? Like he has no opinion on the fact that she keeps calling him or texting him or telling him about
Weird.
things. He's the only one that's allowed in the whatever. If this
Real
is
weird.
truly his sperm and her and like the surrogate's egg, like AJ was saying, like it's her egg,
Yeah.
and y'all don't have no legal contract, this woman literally could take you to court and talk about like
Yes.
child payment
Yeah,
and
'cause we
keeping
don't
that
have all the
baby
information.
because
Yeah.
no one has
Is it?
information.
Yeah.
Right, Sam, we don't have all
So
the information.
there's just so much here. It's a whole dumpster fire, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys.
God.
That is a dumpster fire, and I really hope that it's at least the wife's egg, because if it's not, I'm wondering how it will actually go. If it's the surrogate's egg and then the husband's sperm, then it's legally not her child, and she can't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if she contests it.
Yep.
Well,
which it
also-
sounds like she might.
Also, okay, it makes me question how they even did this.
Verbal
because-
contracts can only go so far.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, what surrogate place would allow you to do something like this without a contract? Most places are gonna be like, "Did you guys go?" Like, they're not just like, "Okay, just come on in and get your surrogate." See,
Most
you know, like,
places, but unfortunately, so this is why this is why it's illegal to do stuff like this in the UK. You have to go through there's a certain process. Not all states, keyword states, not all states are like that in the United States. There are some states where you have to go through a certain program, you have to do certain things, you have to do this legal whatever. But then there's other states, depending on where she is, where you can just do whatever the fuck.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes it sound like it's not her egg because I don't know what state would allow.
I
this
want to
shit,
know why
so-
she's not answering. A lot of people have asked, "Is this your egg or her egg?" And she has not answered it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's not her egg then.
That's
it's
what I'm-
not her
yeah.
egg. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm wondering how they went about this. And that's
Not
why.
only is it
That's why.
probably not her egg, the surrogate mother probably knows that and was taking advantage of that.
And that's why I don't think they went through a fucking surrogate. This isn't a surrogacy. This is the dad fucked
This
this
would
woman
now be like
or
an adoption
whatever the fuck.
situation. not-
Yeah. So it's Again-
I literally almost passed this one up, but then when I read the edit that they had no legal contract, I was like, I gotta do this one.
Wait a second. Hold on. So now the wife is the mistress, kind of.
God.
That's wild.
That's
wild.
people are so fucking stupid, dude. Like
I know, isn't it great?
people are so fucking
it
stupid.
makes great content. That's for
It's
sure.
so awesome. All right, so
Listen, my life's a mess. It'll never be that much of a mess.
see, that's why I like to tell
Confidently
people
say that.
you need to listen to the podcast because we talk about people that have lives that make you feel better about your own life.
Yep, every single time without fail. I'm like, I could be further in life if I just pushed a little harder. And then I read something on Reddit. I'm like, I'm doing great.
And if you didn't push as hard as you have been, you could have been a surrogate mother to a weird dumpster baby. So you know,
Thank you, that sounds
dumpster
like a
baby?
nightmare. Not a dumpster baby.
you could have been the bottle to a dumpster baby.
Oh no. So this is
I don't want to be a bottle dumpster baby person.
this
No,
is
thank you.
this is where I had accidental pregnancy stuff. This is from relationships. I'm uncomfortable with helping impregnate my sister and need advice. See,
What did I just hear?
that face that she just made, I need that clipped and made into an emote for the Gilded server.
Okay, I'm ready. I don't know what I just heard, but I'm ready.
Okay, so to clear this up before I read it and it doesn't make sense, the OP is 34 male, and he is a twin to a sister 34 female. So that's that's what that is. So it's a set of twins.
So they're trying to create like the perfect version of them. Like,
hang on.
I want to die.
Okay. Okay, so here's what OP has to say. This is a little complicated. Oh my god, my tongue literally stopped moving.
Brain said no more.
No more. This is a little complicated, but I'll try to explain as best as possible. My twin sister, Lila, fake name, has been in a wonderful relationship with her wife, Effie, fake name, for about 8 years. Shortly after they got married, they both very much wanted to start a family. After discussing their options, they came to a decision that a great way for them to conceive a child that's biologically, quote, both of theirs would be through IVS, using my sperm and Effie's egg, with Effie carrying the baby. I was completely okay with that and more than happy to help them out. My own wife and I don't have or want kids personally, so there wasn't any subsidiary family drama to consider there, and with Lila being my twin, it just made sense. They literally could not get any closer to a, quote, traditional pregnancy as a couple. It was a success, and Lila and Effie now have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter who, unsurprisingly, looks exactly like Lila. Everyone is thrilled about her. A few months ago, they decided they were ready to expand their family. They'd wanted 2 kids from the beginning, and they'd like the siblings to be fully biological. So Lila contacted me about donating sperm again, and of course I agreed. That is, until I found out that Effie can no longer safely carry a baby to term. Also, backtrack real quick, she's 36 at this point. That Effie got pregnant the first time, so now it's a couple years later. Effie's almost in her 40s.
yeah.
Okay, so apparently they've known about this since encountering complications during the first pregnancy, because it's high risk, Jesus Christ. So instead, my sister would be the one carrying the baby. A baby that's technically mine. I immediately told her no. I'm not comfortable with that.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whose egg?
It's Effie's egg still.
But okay.
So
less weird, still weird.
So
Still
it's
weird.
Effie's egg, and it's his sperm in his twin sister.
Too weird. Don't care. Too
I
weird.
don't know. I get it, dude. That's fucking weird.
Too weird.
It's.
I immediately told her no, I'm not comfortable with that. I understand that her DNA would not be, quote, mixing with mine in any way, but something about it still seems really off to me. I do not want to sit across from my pregnant sister at Christmas dinner knowing that I put the baby inside of her. But you did.
But he did.
He didn't, though. He didn't put it there.
But
I don't want awkward situations like their kid exclaiming, my mommy gave birth to me and my daddy is her brother. Lila is extremely upset, saying that I'm being selfish and closed-minded and juvenile, told me that I'm ruining what would be their perfect family and robbing their daughter of a full-blood sibling. There's absolutely no way they can afford the compensation fees and other costs of a gestational carrier or surrogacy. Plus, they're now attached to the idea of them each having carried one sibling, so the only other option would be using a different sperm donor. In a way, I can absolutely see her side of things. I realize that I sort of am being juvenile. The only thing standing in the way of their dream is that I can't shake the ewy incest vibes, even though I'm fully aware that in reality there's nothing incestuous about it. Is it a selfish move that I can't just put my feelings aside and let them complete their family? For me, it's simply an uncomfortable thought. But for them, it's a decision that affects their entire family and future. I just need some advice, I guess.
I guess I'm juvenile too, because I'm equally as grossed out. So what now? What's the next step?
So, okay, there's first of all, I not a big fan of when people do this whole like you're ruining our perfect plan, whatever the fuck, blah 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 blah. Okay, well, if your perfect plan involves a third fucking party, then that's a thing you have to deal with and get over, because that can go, they don't have to fucking agree to it. Like you came with this perfect fucking plan that didn't pass it off with a fucking third party that's the most important part of the party. The whole idea of like, oh, we want our kids to be biologically fucking related. You're fucking lesbians, dude. You take what you can get when you get some kids. Like, I know that sounds mean.
It's a tough situation.
Yeah,
it's not like
but
a
like
under situation.
Yeah, like I'm sorry if that
shouldn't have used the brother's sperm to begin with, because they couldn't tell the future. Like, what if something bad happened and that something bad did happen? Like, I don't know.
exactly. Maybe you should have used like you could have gotten
exactly.
You could have gotten a different dude to do it and then have that same dude do it twice or whatever, whatever the fuck. But it's just like, these are the cards you're dealt. I'm sorry, they're kind of shitty, but if he's uncomfortable with it, that's the end all be all. There's no you don't get to guilt trip somebody, especially for something as big as this, because he's never gonna be able to mentally get that out of his head. You could sit there and fucking trick him and gaslight him into thinking that it's okay, but it's gonna circle back around and he's gonna feel really fucking weird about it later on.
How do you feel about it, Sam?
So, I guess I'm kind of the odd man out, only because I know that there's so many surrogacy things that happen in the sense of like a mother carrying her grandchild. You know what I mean? And them use. So there's one of the ways surrogacy kind of took off was say a woman's daughter got married and they couldn't have children. They would go to the mom and say, "Hey, can you carry our grandchild since your daughter cannot carry it?" Right? And they would do it. I guess in my mind, I can see past the fact that this literally has nothing to do with incest. This is not, he did not fuck his sister. It's literally him donating his sperm so that their children will be biologically not only together, but also like he said, they could not possibly get any closer to a traditional family because they are twins, right? But at the same time, I do see, your point, and as Reddit has pointed out, they can't guilt trip you because their happily ever after does not involve you. You're not in their marriage, that is not like you're
literally guilt tripping him.
Yes, they are. They are guilt tripping him. He does in the comments say that basically, well, someone suggested, hey, if you want to still help them out with a child, right? Maybe what you could do is seek out professional counseling to help you get over that weird incest vibe that you might feel. And he said that was actually something he might look into because he's afraid that 10 years from now, it will seem completely less taboo for him. But by then it'll be too late. He will be unable to do something about it. I guess I'm the odd man out. I think he should get over it.
At the same time, he also said, they could have their happily ever after, and somebody said but you're not taking away their happily ever after. And honestly, I don't think he should get over it because I think none of our opinions matter. The only person's opinion matter is his own. Nobody should have to. When it comes to something this big, there should be no convincing the person one way or the other. If you are uncomfortable with it, that's it. That's where you draw the line. It's not like, oh, well, seek help and maybe they can help you get past this. This is something that it's his sperm. It's his fucking DNA. It's his absolute choice. It's his choice. Period.
There's no No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I think though that it in a way is still absolutely juvenile that he was willing to do it for one. But now because unfortunately the other one has to carry it and they can't afford a surrogate, now it's weird. Now it's it wasn't weird for him to donate to begin with, but now it's weird because his sister's carrying it.
Yeah, but
I think this is a situation where they needed to communicate more, and I think they needed to talk about the worst case scenario to begin with, and they clearly did it.
I agree.
It should have been on the table, okay, well, if something does happen, because you don't know, and every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
So one pregnancy can go great, and the next one, that's it. Baby makers close. You just don't know. So they should have talked through all of the worst case scenarios and said, okay, if after this pregnancy, Effie can't have another baby, what would you do if we did the same thing, but I carried the baby to term? Would that weird you out? So I just think all of them, they kind of all suck.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean,
maybe they all suck.
So I think it's one of those things it's one of those things you can sit there and analyze every angle of it, and the more you analyze it, the more it makes it it's let's try to divvy out the blame or whatever. But it's sometimes it's just damn, if my sister and her wife came to me and were like, hey, we want to have a baby or whatever, at no point in time would I ever have the even assumption to think that my sister is going to be the one carrying that baby. You know, like it's one of those like.
But you should talk about it.
No, I get that, but at the same time,
think that's what happened.
But at the same time, who really fucking thinks that it's gonna be the sister carrying the fucking brothers? But nobody, like, people aren't thinking about like, yeah, should that have been talked about? Probably, but again, it's like one of those like. We're looking at it, we have the full picture already, and we're going, well, why didn't they do this? Because we already fucking thought about that. But at the time, no logical human being, no logical dude is going to be like, oh, yeah, my sister's going to be carrying this? Okay. Like, they're going to be thinking, oh, well, you're asking for the wife. And they did ask for the wife for the first time, so it's logical to assume they're doing it a second time.
Right. Well,
but yeah,
if
like,
Allie ever asks you to...
I would never, ever do it for her. I would never... No, I'm serious.
But I'm just saying. You have to think about both sides.
Yeah. But I would literally never have my sister, like, carry a fucking baby that had my DNA. It would never, ever happen. And I think that's just a thing where it's like, this dude should, like, he shouldn't have to look at all these different people's, like, sides. He should just be able to go, because this is honestly a very rare instance where for a dude, it is my body, my choice. It's very rare that ever actually happens. You know, like that statement happens, and like people are sitting here debating it. It's like, if it was the other way around, people wouldn't be debating it. It's a woman, it's her body, it's her choice. She gets to say no. Yeah. This is a dude. It's his body, it's his choice. He gets to say no. We shouldn't have to debate this. There shouldn't be a debate. It's his choice.
Yeah, he could go the route of like, let me get some therapy and try to work through it. But if he's uncomfortable with it,
we can call him juvenile, but how does that make us look to call this dude juvenile because he's uncomfortable with something?
I'm still the odd man out because the fact that there is really no difference besides the fact that she's carrying it now because her wife can't. He was so excited. To do it the first time, but now can't. And then also he brings up a point that like his sister, you know, he and his sister are twins. You know, they have that sibling thing going on. They also have that twin thing going on, and you know. Obviously, Lila, she would love for her kids to have the same. And yeah, it sucks when you're dealt those cards and you can't give your children that. And I understand that too. Yeah. At the same time, I really do feel like this is not his sister's egg. She'd literally just be carrying this fucking tube.
And that's just it. No matter what you feel, cells. It doesn't matter. Our feelings literally don't matter. If he's uncomfortable, he should be allowed to be uncomfortable. That's my point. Is he should be allowed to be uncomfortable and just move on past it.
But at the same time, he sounds like he's also like
he already did them a big favor. He
understand that.
It again.
I understand that, but at the same time, he's also because in his other comments saying like, you know, I don't want to regret this, not helping them out 10 years from now. So he obviously is thinking about it from all avenues. So you can't just say, oh, well, he's already made his decision, his body, his choice, when he's obviously looking for other options.
But again, and we still only have part of it though, in the sense that like. Is he going to regret it from 10 years from now, or are they going to make him regret it because they're going to fucking hound him and make him feel shitty about this forever? And then people on Reddit are going to make him feel shitty because they're calling him juvenile.
And obviously that is a whole other issue that has to be addressed, but at the same time, you know.
I think what genuinely kind of pisses me off is the fact that this is an instance where a dude gets a choice and he gets called juvenile because he's uncomfortable with it. Why can't people be uncomfortable with something without being called fucking juvenile? Like, I think that is absolutely absurd. That when it comes to something like this dude can't just be uncomfortable and that be okay and that be accepted. He has to be juvenile. He has to be this. It's like we have to find some way that it is in some way inherently his fault too when he's not to blame here. He is the third party. He is not to blame. He's allowed to say no. And any other situation, every other situation, if it ever involves a woman, they can say no and you shut it down immediately. I just think it's just absolutely outlandish that this is the situation where not the case.
Okay, but let's go back a second and talk about the fact that like, is this him being juvenile or is this toxic masculinity? Because you have to take all this aspect into play here and say, okay, you know, men have this weird thing with pregnancy, right? He's already said, I don't want to look at her across the table at Christmas dinner knowing I put that baby there. But he didn't. He didn't put that baby there. So someone else said, I have had a family member look for an egg donor within the family for her to start her own family. No one thought that was weird. Do you think you would feel the same if you were donating the egg instead of the sperm? At the end of the day, it's your choice, but as you are torn, maybe talk your feelings through with a therapist. And he replied, that is an interesting thought. I feel like if we were twin sisters, I wouldn't feel weird at all about donating an egg for her to carry. This is something truly to think about for sure. So obviously he is very torn. He hasn't made a decision.
Well, I still think it's fucking stupid to insult the dude and call him juvenile.
He should be insulted.
Even going as far as saying toxic masculinity, like that. At a certain point, can fucking people just not be labeled for every fucking decision they make? Can it not just be the fact that this dude is uncomfortable with something without it being, okay, well, what's the underlying thing? Is he juvenile? Is it toxic masculinity? Maybe it's just a fucking thing. Maybe we don't have to fucking label every goddamn thing and go, this is the fucking issue and he's this fucking, it's toxic masculinity and he's so juvenile because he won't do this. Like, maybe he's just fucking uncomfortable. Like, why do we have to boil it down and label all this extra bullshit on top of it?
Because we have to take a look at it and we have to ask him and ask ourselves, is he truly uncomfortable with it? Or is he uncomfortable with the thought of what other people will say? And that's where the toxicity comes from.
Excellent
but
point,
do we really
Sam.
have to? If somebody says I'm uncomfortable with something, do we really have to go, are you uncomfortable with this? Are you uncomfortable with how everyone, like,
but that's
at what point do you draw the fucking line?
But this is how we evolve too. This is how we evolve through things in the sense of like, are you comfortable with fucking homosexuals? Are you comfortable with trans people? You know, like you have to evolve.
That doesn't affect them. When it comes to like gay people and trans people, that doesn't affect anybody else. So somebody else's comfort doesn't fucking matter. Like, if you're uncomfortable with gay people, that's your own fucking problem because it has no effect on you. Like, unless you're secretly uncomfortable with the fact that you might be gay yourself.
Maybe that was a bad example, but my point is there are things through society that we do have to challenge to evolve thoughts beyond that's just icky. You know what I mean? But it's
the person's choice on if they want to challenge it or not. Like, we're literally forcing this dude to challenge this and go, like, I get he's conflicted. That's his own thing. But for us to go, you have to fucking think about this harder, man. Like, you're uncomfortable with it, but are you really uncomfortable with it? Or are you just uncomfortable because you think other people are uncomfortable? Like imagine like somebody saying that they're uncomfortable with something. So as opposed to accepting that they're uncomfortable with it, we have to break down everything about it and go, are you really uncomfortable? Or are you just uncomfortable with society thinking that it's like, it just gets to a certain point where it's like, what the fuck? Why can't people just be uncomfortable with shit?
With you before, but now I'm going to start to disagree because this is a time is of the essence situation. So he doesn't have 10 years to think about this and unpack it on his own. And
he has as long as he wants because it's his fucking shit. They don't have the time because their clock is ticking. He's got as long as he wants because he's not the one. He's not forced into this. But he'll still be
responsible. Like, yes, that's true. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, his decision is going to...
It's also like a domino effect because you're right. You're right.
Like,
he's not responsible.
Right. It is his decision. He can take as much time as he
wants.
And
we can't say like you can't plan your happily ever after with a third party. We can't say that and then also be like, but time's a ticket. Like, well, which is it?
But but here's the thing. They've already involved him.
Yeah.
They've already involved him. Because he was involved the first time, they got him involved. He's involved now. They've asked him, so you can't just say like, oh well, like this is not, you know, like he's not 100% responsible because he is at the end of the day going to have the utmost decision on what happens.
I think it's one of those things too where. Like the whole like when they first did this, we don't know what they discussed. We don't know like if he's like, okay, I'm signing on for 2 babies. Like they came back and asked him a second time. So when like just because he did it once doesn't mean he has to fucking do it again. Like again, that's not how this shit works. It's the same fucking deal with any other thing when it comes to someone's body and their fucking biological well-being, that just because you do it once, you're not entitled to do it again. Like, if you have sex with somebody, they can say no the second time. But that's not
what happened. He was willing and excited to do it until he realized it was going to be his sister.
Yeah, but but that's the same shit. If someone's like, oh man, let's have sex, and then you have sex, and they're like, okay, let's have sex again, and then you're like, yeah, okay, but then they're like, okay, but this time it's anal, and you're like, wait, well, it's still sex. Well, I didn't sign up for this. It's the same fucking, just because the fucking shit got flipped doesn't mean you have to go along with it. Like, you're allowed to say no at any fucking point. Why is this even being a thing that, like, why are we even saying, like, he can't say no without, I don't understand it. It's outlandish.
Okay. So at the end of the day, though, he posted on here 4 opinions.
He did.
And what he got were opinions on an entire range of things to think about. And that's what he wanted. He posted in advice, give me advice on what I should do. So saying like, okay, he feels uncomfortable in this, but giving him an option to which he's already positively responded, which is, oh, I didn't think about that. That's an interesting thought. I had never thought about it that way. It's still a positive for him. And I get what you're saying in the sense that, yes, at the end of the day, someone should be able to say, I'm uncomfortable with this. I say no. I take back all my things. Like, I'm taking this consent away. Yes, I get that, and I understand that completely. But at the end of the day, we need to come back to this part where he posted here 4 opinions, and that's what he got.
But also, he posted here for opinions and not for fucking to be insulted. So when people are like,
he's the one that said, am I just being juvenile?
Yeah,
he's not being insulted though.
But then if people do call him juvenile or say that this is toxic masculinity and shit like that, you just hit this certain point where like it's just getting to this point where like he's just asking for fucking opinions and we're like breaking it down way the fuck too much. Like, I don't know. It's just,
I think he's asking for reasons as to why it may also be juvenile so he can work it out on his own. Because if it was just black and white and it was a hard no, he wouldn't have written the post to begin with.
Yeah, I just think that like if he wants to figure this out on his own, sure. And he's like
trying to see it from different angles and is open to still doing it, but he needs to see some other things. I think his normal like gut reaction is like, oh my god, no, weird, stranger danger. But he realizes that he may be actually like, if you're gonna like get a textbook out and look at it, like, scientifically, he's being juvenile, and I think he's willing to get there. Maybe he just needs strangers' opinions.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, because, like, as weird
especially from people who aren't involved.
I mean, as weird as it is, I did see this comment saying rewatch Friends because Phoebe carries her brother's kid, and actually, people freak out about whatever the fuck. But, like, that is a thing that happened in that storyline or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But, like...
she had triplets.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But it's just one of those things where, like, ultimately, yes, he wants to make a decision, or he wants to get as much info as possible. But I think railing him, or his sister and the sister-in-law railing him about if he decides to not go through with it, is too fucking much. If he says no, then this whole bullshit of you're ruining this.
I don't think he should be guilt tripped into it.
Like this,
no,
that's like
for sure.
This whole bullshit of like just not accepting a no is where I draw the fucking line. It's too much. It's fucking bullshit, and it's bullshit that people are even like saying like you can't say no. He can say fucking no whenever and walk away, and she should be able to do this. Now, I understand that people aren't simple,
he
and that
say no, but there will still be consequences for saying no. You know what I'm saying? It may put a strain on.
And the
family.
thing is, but that's also. That's the sad thing is, you're right. There will be consequences, but there really shouldn't be. Again,
there shouldn't be, but that's what will happen. Like maybe him and his twin sister will have a very different dynamic for the rest of their lives.
And that's it. Yeah, I'm just saying, like that's just how fucked up it is, though, in the sense where like a dude can say no, but then they have to be reminded, well, there could be consequences for this. Like fuck, man. Like why can't for once a dude just say no and it be okay to say no without like all the ramifications of it? Think about everything. Like just be like, why can't it just be okay to say no? Like, he's uncomfortable, no. But he's figuring it out.
No, I think he wants reasons to say yes, though.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. He's trying to figure it out. But I'm just saying, like, it just feels like anytime if he leans towards no, then everybody has to like try to convince him or explain away why that's everything else is like nobody just wants to accept that this dude could say no. It's like impossible for anyone to fucking like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It is his body. It is his choice. He can say no. Like, there's no other way to fucking wrap it up besides that should be a choice that he can make without getting hounded about it. Like, because even say like it could affect his dynamic. I mean, that's the same shit if a fucking woman says no, and I'm like, well, but if you say no, if she says no, that could affect your guys' relationship down the line. Like, who said? Nobody would say that, you know. But now that the roles are reversed, we have to be reminded that it could affect their dynamic. Like, there's something inherently fucked up about that. That it's only being reminded that it'll fuck up the dynamic because it's a dude saying no. If a woman says no, you accept that it's no, and you don't say, but it could fuck up the dynamic later on. Well, yeah, it could, but we don't have to remind you of that.
I think that a woman would be especially guilt-tripped because women are guilt-tripped for men's feelings.
But I'm just saying in the context of if the argument is if a woman says no, it's no, the end, drop it. That's always been the thing. A woman's allowed to say no, drop it. But now he's allowed to say no, but he has to think about the consequences of his actions. Well, why the fuck is it? Why are we like saying that a woman can say no matter what, but he can't just say no? Why do we have to say this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this weird.
I think you're coming at it from a way that we believe no means no, the three of us, right?
Yeah.
But society as a whole doesn't necessarily always agree with that.
Yeah.
So I think if it were reversed, I think there would be a huge amount of guilt tripping and bullying if it were like the twins, if it was literally just reversed.
Two sisters.
I think there would be guilt tripping too.
Or the sister carrying his sperm for whatever fucking reason for like them to have a kid, right? Say his wife couldn't have a baby. I think there would be an enormous amount of guilt tripping for if it was literally just reversed.
I think there would be guilt tripping too, but what I'm saying is that I don't feel like we would be the ones guilt tripping. I'm saying like we would be the ones saying she said no, that means no, drop it. That's the point I'm making. Yeah.
We would, the three of us.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the bubble that we live in.
Yeah.
I think it would be the same, if not worse, in the comments if it were literally
like
reversed.
I agree that like if it was a woman, she would be guilt tripped, but she shouldn't be. Whereas, but with the dude, he is being guilt tripped when he shouldn't be. But everyone thinks it's okay that he's being guilt tripped. It's just like, oh, well, he needs to think about the consequences of his actions. Well, what the fuck? He doesn't. He shouldn't have to. He should be able to say no and be able to drop it. Damn, Sam, what a story to start on this Monday.
Happy Monday.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when I have an accidental pregnancy.
Sam, your accidental pregnancy is breaking this family apart.
Yeah, it happens. Good Lord.
Well, now that we went down that whole fucking rabbit hole.
Happy Angry Monday.
Right. We'll
Look, we're not angry. I'm just fine.
I don't know. I think AJ a little angry.
I mean, I was getting angry because it just seems like it's a thing that, you know, it's a very rare situation that there definitely seems to be like layers of hypocrisy in that I can't ignore. I have to point out, like, you know, there's things that we see that we've pointed out before that like we're passionate about or whatever. I can't see something like this and not point it out and go, this is a little hypocritical. Like, there is a layer of hypocrisy here, and I have to point it out. So, or else I would be a hypocrite for not saying anything.
Right. I get you.
But
I get it.
Hopefully we got some funny ones on Wednesday.
Oh, I got some funny ones.
I got some pretty funny ones on Wednesday too.
I got some funny ones.
I got some fucked up ones actually. So.
I was like, whoop.
Actually, and I will say, just as a little spicy hint, neither of mine are Am I the Asshole or relationships. They're both different. So.
Thank God.
Oh,
they will be different. But yeah, I guess we'll wrap this up here. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. Let us know all of your thoughts in our Gilded server.
Yeah, what do you guys, the listeners, what do you think about this
argument
story?
In the Gilded server at gilded.gg/everyone sucks here. Or hit us up email, contact@everyoneslexhere.com, or leave a comment on YouTube or wherever you're listening to us on. So
don't forget to submit your stories or things that you find on Reddit that you think are fucking hilarious, because we're nosy and we want to read everything, okay?
And honestly,
just fucking submit everything. Just submit it. Do you think about it? Just fucking do it.
Yeah, submit.
Let us know about it.
Your dom.
Yes. What she said.
Alrighty, we'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Goodbye.
Bye.